Media already stored in common multimedia file formats can be imported directly into Premiere as a clip using the File, Import command. As a shortcut to get to this dialog, you can also double-click on any open area of the project window, like so. Premiere Pro can import a number of image, video, and audio formats. It also supports 10-bit color depth, which is necessary for editing standard and high-definition footage. File format support is provided by plug-in software modules. Most of these software modules are installed automatically with Adobe Premiere Pro CS3. Now, if you open up the File of Type or Files of Type drop-down menu, you can see that Premiere supports a wide range of video, audio, and graphic file formats, including AVI, Adobe Illustrator, Title Designer, Bitmap BMP, GIF files, encapsulated PostScript or EPS files, JPEGs, PCX files, Macintosh PICT files, as well as Macintosh Audio AIFF, Photoshop files, QuickTime Movies, Sony VDU file format importer, TIFFs, Windows Media, Windows WAV files, Adobe Premiere 6 bin, storyboards, projects, as well as Adobe Premiere Pro project files. Those will be for earlier versions of Premiere Pro, such as 1, 1.5, and 2, as well as Adobe After Effects projects. You can import individual still images one clip at a time, several clips at a time, or you can import an entire folder at once. If you do import an entire folder, the folder appears as a bin of clips in the project window. To change the default duration for still images when you place them on the timeline, you can choose Edit Preferences General. And from this dialog, the General category, there is a still image default duration setting. It's set to 150 frames as a default, but you can change this to any duration that you need. Changing the default duration of still images does not affect the duration of still images that are already part of a sequence. Now, you'll have more import options when importing files from other Adobe applications such as Illustrator, Photoshop, After Effects, Flash, and Fireworks. Projects created in Adobe Premiere 5.1 or later can be imported directly into your Premiere projects. The imported projects, clips, and sequences are added to the project window in a bin named after the imported project. To do this, choose File, Import from the main menu. Browse to the location of your Premiere file. I have one on this hard drive here. Here in the Premiere Pro 2 folder, I have a Premiere 2.0 document, 202. Notice that that's a Adobe Premiere project file. It imports all of the files that are part of that project. It's asking me first where these are. It's looking for 0202A, which is in the same folder here. So I just browse to the location of 0202A AVI and select that. And then notice that Premiere Pro CS3 will bring in all the Premiere Pro 2 files in a folder labeled after the name of the file, including my sequences and my clips that were in the project window. All of the imported project special effects, such as transitions and effects, will be included. However, be careful when importing a project into another project with a different time base or audio sample rate. These differences may affect edit positioning and audio quality. For projects saved in Adobe Premiere 6.x format or earlier, the project's timeline becomes a sequence at the top level of the bin that results from importing the Premiere file. You can also import an Adobe Illustrator still image file directly into a Premiere Pro project. Premiere Pro CS3 will rasterize the path-based Illustrator art into the bitmap-based image type used by Premiere. Premiere automatically anti-aliases or smooths the edges of the Illustrator graphics. Premiere Pro CS3 also converts all empty areas into an alpha channel so that empty areas become transparent. All layers in an Adobe Illustrator file are merged when you import them into Adobe Premiere Pro CS3. To demonstrate, I have an Illustrator file prepared. Let's choose File, Import again. On the bottom here, under the Files of Type drop-down, choose Adobe Illustrator. near the top there. That'll just show me my Illustrator files or .ai files. Browse to the location of your Illustrator files. I have some on the C drive here. And notice that with the Adobe Illustrator type selected, I only see Illustrator files, making it easier to find them and choose them. Once you select the file, click Open. It imports it into Premiere. Now, if I drag and drop this onto the timeline, you'll see that Premiere has indeed automatically anti-aliased or smoothed the edges and also converted all empty areas into transparent alpha right there on the sides. To define the dimensions of the Illustrator art when it's rasterized by Premiere, set up crop marks in the Illustrator file before importing. See your Illustrator documentation for information about setting up crop marks. Let me now move on to the next movie and discuss how to import Adobe Photoshop still images.